Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for the Tour de Force April 2017 podcast titled True Direct ERP and CRM Integration. My name is Ken Ledyard, the Marketing Director for Tour de Force, and I have joining me today Ryan Elliott, our Senior Application Engineer. Thanks for being here, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
So one of the things that I asked Ryan to be here today was we get the same question over and over and over, and that typically is, what's the biggest differentiation Tour de Force offers to the market? So I guess that's where we're going to start.
And that's a great question, and that's something that we answer quite often in the webinars and in the demos and presentations that we do with our prospects and customers. And quite honestly, it's our direct integration to the ERP systems that we work with. If you've ever visited our website, you can see a list of ERPs that we've integrated to over the years, and ultimately what we offer with that is the ability to capture information that you can't normally get from a standard CRM system. So quite frankly, the most important thing in discussing what Tour de Force does differently is going to be our BSI Connector, which stands for Business System Integration, and what we can use that information for when we bring it into the CRM and BI system that we offer.
All right, so if it's the integration, really what you're boiling down is you're accessing data. That's what you're getting at. So really the follow-up then naturally becomes, all right, so you can get me the data, how do I benefit from that?
Another great question. So the benefits that are offered through having access to ERP or accounting data, whatever you want to call it, is really related to what you're going to use it for. And there's a number of different uses within Tour de Force that help you drive one thing that I really want to talk about in terms of the data that you get access to, which is user adoption. And you can help your sales force, including outside sales, inside sales, customer service. You can help them adopt the system much better, especially with the integration that we offer, because at the onset of a project that you encounter with us or that you work with us, we would bring the information into Tour de Force from your ERP, offering that data to your users. Now, most other systems that you might work with require you to enter data before you see any benefit. And ultimately, we provide you with that in a couple different capacities, especially to, again, your outside sales team, your inside sales team, customer service, your C-level executives, your managers, your presidents, your owners. We can provide different levels of permissions to that sales information as well. And that's data that you'd have access to no matter where you're at. And again, it's going to be based on the permissions that we offer as well. So again, pulling the data into Tour de Force is one thing, but we calculate the values, we give you permission capabilities, and we give it to you in a format that each level of the company can use.
All right, so we've got the data, we know the benefits. Give me an example. How does somebody put that to use?
Absolutely. So if you think about when you're going to visit a customer, one of the things you'll do is create an appointment to go meet with that customer as an outside sales rep, and you want to know more about their account. You want to know more about the information, not only just that you've captured, including the appointments and maybe sales call activities and potentially CRM opportunities you've got in Tour de Force, but you want to know a little bit about the product mix that they're buying. You want to know the gaps in the business that you could be approaching with them. You want to look at your product groups or your item codes and say, these guys are buying these 5 items from me. They really should be buying these paired items that go with these 5. And that's something that is critical when you're talking about the business application of the sales data, especially information coming out of your ERP. And the second piece to that is you can be alerted on that ERP data. You can be alerted on an open order that's past due. You can be alerted on a quote being generated from your ERP system where you need to have a follow-up date, and the information that's in that quote's vital to the discussion you're going to have with that customer. One of the things that comes up in terms of percentages and follow-ups and things like that with sales data, 60% of almost all the companies we deal with don't follow up on their quotes in a timely manner. So if you just take that number and apply that to the information that the connector brings across just for quoting, that's something that now you're gaining back the information that you've lost or didn't have or couldn't find because it's right now presented in front of you. So those are a couple different ways that can be beneficial on top of what we've already discussed.
All right, so I guess the final point that we're going to discuss today boils down to a how question. So I can tell you, as a marketing person, I do a lot of reading, I get a lot of communication. it's very hard for me to say a differentiation is integration, because let's face it, everybody claims to do it, right? So my final question might be, all right, how do we do that in tour de force?
Another great question, and something that I get questions on all the time, quite frankly. The how part of the integration is unique to what we do. We've spent quite a few years working on the connector. Since we've been in business over 15 years now, we've spent time developing and perfecting our BSI connector. Now, how we do that depends on the system you have. And if we get technical for a second, if you are a Microsoft SQL based system, we can direct query your information. If you are, say, a flat file based system, or a Unix based system, or a Linux based system, we'd have access to that through an ODBC driver, potentially through query editors and the old maybe Fox Pro style. But ultimately, based on what I'm telling you from this verbiage I'm talking about, being very technical with this, we know the ERPs that we're working with. We pull the data, we calculate the information that you would typically use on a daily basis with your accountant, or you would use with somebody that's providing reports to you who it takes, say, 6 hours a week to just generate a single report. And the how part of this is what really becomes intuitive to what we do, and we do it as part of a seamless integration at the beginning of your implementation. That's part of the how. It's not that, well, we'll build this out and it might take a year, but we'll be able to give it to you, after we get done 12 months from now. No, that's not how this is processed. What we do is we provide the information to you at the beginning, and the how piece of that is the seamless integration with the calculated values and everything else we do with the sales data we bring across. One of the things that we do with that data is that for every system we work with, we bring across the invoice lines. Now, you might say, well, why is that important? Well, that's important because we can do calculations based on those invoice lines. A lot of companies will pull across information from an ERP system into their business intelligence that doesn't go down to the invoice line level, that doesn't give you the capability of deciding what data is pivoted and what data is provided and how you can view it. We do that at a very granular level intentionally so that you can use it to your benefit. So, the how part of that, honestly, I could spend a couple hours with someone from a technical standpoint going through that, but the gist of it is we've done it, we've seen it, we've likely integrated to the ERP that you have today, and we can plug our connector in right away, and within, say, a half a day, have your information up and available to be reconciled against your ERP system. So that kind of gives you a brief explanation on the how.
That's very good. Brian, thanks for your time today. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the April podcast for Tour de Force. Look for our upcoming podcast. If we've given you something today that's piqued your interest, we offer a couple demos every month. Check out the website. Feel free to learn more about us. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.